I am finally going to tackle this problem. So a few years ago we had just catamarans install our solar with our Cerbo GXs and the arch on the back and that whole thing. And we just like every project everybody ever has, things kind of got delayed a little bit, took a little longer than they had anticipated, and then we'd gotten to the boat and we really needed to push off and all that kind of stuff. So long story short, they were trying to figure out this issue where when they turn on the electronics, the chart plotter and everything for the boat, the Cerbo will actually brown out. They actually didn't know what it was, and neither did I at the time. But after living with the boat for a couple years now, I'm convinced that it's actually the Cerbo is browning out because of the capacitance and stuff that is on the electronics, because we have 3 chart plotters and a bunch of other electronics, and all that stuff has filter caps. That inrush, I think, causes a droop on the bus, which eventually causes Cerbo to reset. At least that's my thought. So even if your boat doesn't have a Cerbo GX, I think the principles I use to debug this might help you. If you're new here, I'm Mike, and my wife and I own Wile 1, a 2022 Nautitech 46 Open. So I know it's been a while since I put out a video. Life's been quite busy since we put Wile 1 on a hard up in Matthews in May. We've had a graduation, we've had lots of doctor's appointments, we've had some medical procedures, and I'm in the midst of a family medical emergency right now that I'm still working through right now. So, but I did want to actually put something out, and I'm actually glad I'm finally finding some time to do this between my 3 jobs and everything else, because it's really fun to go back and look at a lot of the video and the content that I have. Oh, and before I get into this, there is one more thing that I'm really super enthusiastic and excited to tell you about. We have made the decision finally this year to do the Salty Dog Rally down to Antigua. We're finally going to make it down to the Caribbean this year. Our plan is to go Norfolk to Antigua, and that should be somewhere around the beginning of November. And so if you want to be included and get all the notifications of all of our prep and the videos that I put together on acquiring, finding crew, and acquiring insurance, which has been a real bear, please hit the like, subscribe, and alert bells before you go, and I'd really appreciate it. So back to the topic at hand. So we hired just catamarans down in Fort Lauderdale. We were doing the final checkouts right about trying to get out of the marina there, and they were doing a bunch of safety checks and everything else. And we noticed that when they fired on, or when we fired on the breaker, or the relay, I guess, rather, for all of the chart plotters, we have 3 chart plotters and a bunch of other electronics, the Cerbo GX would reset. And I think everybody thought perhaps at that particular time that it could have been a communication issue or something else. Long story short, we weren't able in short order to be able to figure out what that was. And we were under a time crunch, both just catamarans and us, for getting out of there. So we left. And it took about 2 seasons of dealing with this nuisance before I really kind of decided I couldn't take it anymore. And also I figured out, or I had a theory as to maybe what happened. If I had the chart plotters on, I turned them off and then turned them back on again, Cerbo GX would not reset. I also noticed that the frequency of resetting was far less when the batteries were at a higher state of charge, or if perhaps we were under charge from the inverter, or sorry, under the generator. And so I started putting 2 and 2 together, and I started to think, you know what, this really sounds like a brownout issue. And essentially the batteries, which are in the port hall. They have, you know, they have some supply cables that run through some conduit from one hall to the next where this electronic sits. They're not running, I actually don't know what size of battery cable they're running, but I suspect it's still a pretty far distance, and I believe they probably sized it down because there's really no significant loads like an inverter on the starboard side of the boat that would require, you know, triple watt wire or anything. So all this wire, all that distance, and you know, reduced gauge wire is added resistance. And I believed what was happening is each of these chart plotters, we have 2 Zeus 3S's that are 9-inch and a 12-inch Zeus at the nav station 3S. And I believe all those have a pretty decent amount of bulk capacitance at the inputs. And so as soon as you apply power, the relay switches and all of those downstream electronics, which are controlled by this relay, get power applied immediately. And I believe that the inrush was pretty significant. And so during my break between season 2 and season 3, I decided to do something about this. And I ordered a bunch of electrolytic capacitors, and I ordered some perf board, and I soldered a bunch of capacitors in parallel in preparation for my season 3, and I brought my oscilloscope with me. All right, this is my Cerbo, and this controls the display at the navigation system that's right up here. This is the power for the Cerbo, and it kind of runs through here, down through here, and then it gets split off right here. And so it looks like there's a 2 amp fuse for it. I don't know what fuse 05 was originally for, but anyway. And then ground is up here. And so there are these relays, and I'm not sure whether it's relay 5 or any of these relays up here. It's not clear, but they all get run off of this bus, I think. I don't know which of these is the feed for the panel, whether there's 2 or whether this one, I don't know. Anyway, so I hooked up kind of an extension piece of wire here onto kind of very close to where the Cerbo is getting powered on the bus, and then the ground, which is up here. And then I have brought my oscilloscope from home. Right now what you're looking at is 45 millivolts RMS of noise on the bus on DC. All right, sorry about that. This is the noise that is on the battery, essentially remotely sensed, and I think it's because I just turned on the hot water heater, which is being powered off the inverter right now. So this is the noise of the inverter. It's not clear whether this is actually real or not. I might have to do this a couple different times, because this could actually be partially due to ground loops, because I'm powered from AC here, and this oscilloscope is being grounded, and then it's also being grounded here as well, up here near the panel. So we're gonna have to probably do this a couple different times, but let's give it a try and see what happens. Go to AC coupled, and you'll see that we have essentially 13 volts. And I'm going to set up a trigger here, falling trigger, and I'm going to set it up to about, I need to go into the manual and figure out where the brownout is for the UVLO under voltage lockout of the Cerbo. But we'll do it another time here. I'm going to put hold off to normal like this, and I'm going to go up there and I'm going to turn everything's on, and then when I come back here, I should I should see if there's any significant droop when I turn on the electronics here. Alright, there we go. You can kind of see it now. Should have probably increased the time resolution, but you can kind of see that there is a droop down to about here. So 2, 4, 6, 8 volts. There's a droop down to about 8 volts here. It's short-lived, very short-lived, and then things recover. But yeah, I think that's basically it. Let me try to get another one of these, but I got to turn off the electronics and let everything dissipate first. Alright, we're going to try it again. We're going to turn on the electronics and see what we got. Oh yeah, there you go. It's a very short-lived negative pulse, and looks like it hits about 8.25 volts. And I'm quite positive it probably only works down to about 10 volts. The Cerbo, it probably has an under voltage lockout of about 10 volts, I would imagine, maybe 9. I had built up a number of capacitors. These are electrolytic, but they're high reliability. I forget how many hours. I think 20,000 hours or something mean time before failure. And I'm going to try to see how I can wire this system in here. I want the leads to be as short as possible to the capacitor bank, but I also don't want it to kind of short out, obviously. You know, so I don't know. Let me figure it out, and I'll come back and show you what I got. All right, this is what I've done. So I had installed this fuse block prior, because I actually have what do I have on it actually? Oh, I think I have Sirius XM radio on this one, and so I have one fused 10 amps that runs up to this capacitor bank up here, and then I moved the Cerbo from down here, and I plugged it in here, and I couldn't get a 2 amp fuse, so I have a 3 amp fuse, so I'm using a 3 amp for right now. And I have basically, I'm sensing the same points that I was before, and we're going to turn on the electronics and see what kind of droop we got. All right, so this is what we got. Well, we're a bit better. We got 9.4 volts. Again, I need to look and see if I need to look and see what Cerbo says about the min voltage, operation voltage, but it doesn't seem to be as dramatic. Remember, we bought us about a volt. We were down around 8.4 volts. Also, though, however, I mean, we'll need to check it later, because the battery right now is a little high. We're at 92%. So we'll need to check it after the battery drains a little bit, but it does seem like it's helped a little bit. And so what are the potential failure modes of this system? So I actually put the capacitor bank off of a fuse. So if the PCB were to become shorted, or the capacitors failed short, then the fuse would blow. I also chose high reliability electrolytics. I made a conscious effort to strap down the capacitors on the board, and on the board where they're mounted in the electronics panel. So, and then also to zip tie all of the wires running to and from them, so that they don't get fatigued and actually break. I chose electrolytics because they will vent if they fail. They will vent open, and they usually don't cause a thermal event, and also they usually don't fail shorted. In fact, I believe they don't at all. I've never seen one that fails short. So do not use tantalum capacitors at all. I mean, you can get a much higher capacitance in a much smaller package, but tantalum caps, when they fail, they oftentimes fail short, and then they will actually cause a thermal event. If watching this video you have any questions at all, or you just have any other questions about some electrical problems that you might be having on your boat, feel free to reach out. I'll be happy to give you my 2 cents and help out if I can.